Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, back to talk more comics from this week of November 6th. So it's not necessarily new comic book day, but I didn't get all my comics from my subscription service. I like to still go to my brick and mortar store and Graham Crackers in DeKalb, Illinois, where I try to show up every Friday and pick up a few things that I didn't put on my list. Just try to support the place, give them a little bit of cash, whatever. And I'm glad I did. And this, okay. There we go. That's gonna bother me. Sorry, my hair's being weird. Got a lot of it right now. So we're gonna be talking about, though, this is why I'm glad. Okay, I've been looking forward to this. This was supposed to be on my pull list, and I don't know what happened. And we're talking about Daredevil number 13, Through Hell Part 3. Continuing Chip Zdarsky's run on Daredevil, which has been phenomenal. So right now what's been going on is Matt is finally getting back to being Daredevil, but he's not there. After everything he's been through, he is definitely off by more than a step. And Kingpin, while I was ready for his reign to be over, once I caught up on this series, I realized how wrong I was to want Wilson Fisk to not be mayor, or have his storyline continue as mayor, because he's trying to go legits. But as we found out in the last issue, he still has a little bit of an anger management problem because he goes to these rich people's house, the most rich people around. And he gets berated by all of them. They basically, without him being a criminal, they don't fear him anymore. And this one guy named Ty just wouldn't let off of him. And in the bathroom, while Wilson was trying to compose himself, this man comes, he sees this man as he's leaving, and he just keeps going. He says one last thing too wrong, and Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, brutally murders him in the bathroom, and he's got covered in blood. And that's where we left off. And for Daredevil, where we left off was Elektra had to come and save his ass because things had gone south, and so she is going to be his new trainer to get him back up to 100%. And that's where we start this book. Now, this is one of the greatest covers, man. I love this cover so much because, first off, it's just gorgeous. It's a great work of art. I would like this. I would love to just have this framed. I know that's weird, maybe, but I just love this cover. And what's great about it, though, is Wilson's face. It's something you don't see on his face, really, ever. And it's fear. Fear has actually, of everything, and he says this in the book, everything that he's been through. And let's just jump right into it, right? And we'll get back to the beginning of it. But everything that he's been through, right? I've survived assassination attempts, prison sentences, superheroes, but he still feels like he's a scared boy trying to survive in the streets, unable to let slights pass without, doing what he did. And so he has to call Wesley to come help him out of this pretty bad jam. Now, it's a pretty big house, so it's easy that nobody, has noticed yet that these people are gone. It's a really big house. These rich people are so far up their own butts they don't notice what's going on. And so it's easy for Wesley to slip back in. But at the beginning of the book, we've got Elektra, starting to train Matt, who wants to be a better man. Which I love that, because he's like, he wants to be a better man. And as soon as we turn the page, it's somebody else who was trying to be a better man. It just is like saying, it's over. So Wesley tells him that what you need to do, right? Well, first, he has to set this up. So he gets all the cleaning guys, Wesley gets all the cleaning guys, or one of the cleaning guys to help him. He says, if you don't do what we say, we got people outside of your house, we're going to kill your family. And you. And so they get the body, they dump it in there, and he's supposed to clean up all the blood, meanwhile his henchman is supposed to take care of the body. And what he wants is for Wilson to call 911 and report a suicide. And so, they take the car and they decide to, they're getting rid of the evidence. So Wilson's like, all right, how are we going to pull this off? Because, does not look like a suicide. And if you remove the body, what then? And Elektra, and it's pretty fitting that Elektra is stepping in for Stick to, kind of give Matt the kick in the pants that he needs to get back to what he used to be able to do and maybe be better at it. Because she's saying, you have, he wants to be better. But she says, be better. You've never had goals. Actual goals, just general ideas. You work without goals because to have goals is to possibly fail at them. So she's trying to tell him, like, well, how are you going to, without all this, how are you going to do what you did like you did last time? Because last time you tried this, people died. So you need control. So how do you gain control? Knowledge. So she's telling him that you should know this room, know your opponent, know yourself. And again, I always just love how they show Daredevil's powers and everything. And so he focuses and pays attention to his surroundings and pays attention to the room, and he's able to crack her right in a specific spot that kills her arm, or she can't use it. And she's like, well, that's been a long time since somebody managed that. And so they get back, and the cleaning guy has put everything as best he can together, and they say, well, hey man, there's still blood on the floor, this still looks like something bad happened. And they're like, yeah, well, we just need to make it look like it's not a murder. And they're like, what are you talking about? And so they grab Julio, the cleaning man who they've threatened, and kill him. So they weren't trying to make Ty's death look like a suicide. They wanted to make the cleaning guy's death look like a suicide because these people consider him a nobody, a nothing. They wouldn't have thought twice because Ty's rich. Why would he kill himself? Wesley was smart. This is evil. This is evil shit. So the whole plan was never to blame it, have the suicide on Ty, but on some unsuspecting victim that they could just put it on. And so that's pretty dark. Meanwhile, Elektra's saying, that he feels stupid. He forgot everything that Stick taught him, and she's like, he's a bastard, but you still have a long way to go. And Matt's talking about how all the cops are dirty. Nobody's patrolling Hell's Kitchen, and he has powers, and now he has to focus them. And we get a little bit of the Owl here. A little bit of the Owl who's decided to take over for Kingpin. And we have the Libris family matriarch saying, look, you did this, you did it. He admits it completely, kills all her men, keeps her alive, so that, everybody knows that he's the leader he's the new Kingpin of crime. Now, this is the only weak part of the story because I feel like, he's just filling the void. The Owl sees an opening and he's taking it. But the Owl to me was always like a second-rate villain who just seizes his opportunity, and he's high on confidence right now because of what Wilson's doing. But it's pretty clear that once Wilson, how long is this going to last, right? How long will this last? Maybe a while. I don't know, a little while. They might let Owl, continue for a little while. But once Kingpin's back, the Owl is going to fold. Like, he's probably going to get messed up real bad, and he's just going to go back to cowering and knowing his place. So I feel like it doesn't really matter who's trying to fill in the void of Wilson being gone. As soon as it turns, it's going to be turned. And I actually am thinking, here's something else that I think is interesting, is that what if it's not Wilson that becomes the Kingpin of crime? What if it's Wesley? What if they feel like, I want to be, like Wilson's like, I want to be straight, but somebody has to control the crime. I'm not saying it's a good thing for anybody, but I'm saying that it's possible that they are in their mind, they'll be thinking that they're taking the lesser of two evils, even though what Wesley just did is pretty damn evil. And so Wilson gets talked to by the cops, and, you know, it's pretty standard stuff, you know, even though it's the Kingpin, like, you know, it shouldn't be standard stuff, you know, him, like, acting like, oh, it's a tragedy, this could have been avoided, and blah, 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 and it could have been. He's right, though. But he's more like talking like, if you people hadn't pushed me, you know, this wouldn't have happened. And the cleaning man would be alive, and, you know, Ty would be alive. It's that weird rationale that people, you know, these kind of criminals and people like Wilson Fisk, you know, look how they look at things. Meanwhile, Detective North is told that he needs to go on a sabbatical for a couple of weeks. And he's, you know, he's all messed up because of everything that's been happening to him and to his partner. And now with Daredevil saving him and Spider-Man, you know, kind of telling him what's what and everything, he kind of comes to the aid of this homeless man who, you know, it's a pretty standard smack around the douchebags hanging around, you know, Hell's Kitchen. You know, because he's a very big guy. He's not Luke Cage or anything. He's a pretty big guy. He doesn't have unbreakable skin or anything. But in his moment of, you know, kind of feeling down and literally he's having a crisis of faith, you know, in his own job and everything and what he's capable of. And, yeah, of course I cover his face up, right? Daredevil, Matt, comes up to him like, hey, why don't we get a cup of coffee? So Matt's pursuit of knowledge starts here with Detective North, and to start putting their resources together to try to make Hell's Kitchen better. So that's Daredevil number 13. It's so, I'm telling you guys, make sure that you guys are, if you can, pick up Daredevil. It's so darn good. So anyway, like, I can't wait for next week or next month's issue. That's one of the things that's great about it, though. They make you wait the month, so that by the time you get it, you're salivating, you plow through it, you're like, you eat it up. I love getting, you know, books twice a month, but I really dig like getting that wait, the anticipation of it. So anyway, if you like this review and you feel like it, please hit that like button. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers, so any help would be greatly appreciated. We are now 49 away from, or is it less than that? It's like 41? I think we're 41 people away from 1,000 subscribers. But also, okay, if you like my content or you don't like my content, make sure that you're seeking out other voices that are talking about comics. And I mean people like Wes at Thinking Critical. I'm talking about Ash on Comics. I'm talking about Comics by Perch. I keep forgetting Gateway into Comics. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting him. And then Real Comic Stacks. Those are the people that I recommend. And they always are on Comic Aficionados, usually once a week. As a group with people like Pele and Doc. It's some of the best voices in comics out there. If you want to get a bunch of people to talk about comics in a room where you hear all the different kinds of opinions, whether they all agree with each other or not. A lot of times it's more fun to see the differing opinions. And so I highly recommend checking those guys out. Follow them on Twitter. Subscribe to them on YouTube. So this is Rob at Smirking Interviews saying keep reading comics. Go to your local comic book shops. And we'll be back. We're going to be back with Ghost Rider number 2. And we're also going to be talking about what Wes from Thinking Critical and I believe Comics by Perch also recommended, Undiscovered Country by Scott Snyder. I'm really excited to read both. I read Ghost Rider, so that review's coming. I have not read this yet, but this review will be coming on later as well. And then we just put up our reviews for The Leftovers, episode 8 of season 1. We've got Doctor Who season 8, episode 11 coming tomorrow. We've got Watchmen on Sundays. His Dark Materials on Mondays with Batman the Animated Series. The Mandalorian starts Tuesday along with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We've got stuff happening every single day of the week, so always come back to hit that bell for notifications if you want to know when all my content comes out. So have a great day, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.